When discussing the NBA's most celebrated duos, the pairing of Jordan and Pippen always gets brought up. What the two have accomplished together will always be a benchmark for other great NBA duos. But did you know that back in 1994, the Sonics nearly traded Shawn, Kemp, and Ricky Pierce for Scottie Pippen with the blessing of Michael Jordan? It happened during Jordan's first retirement while he was playing baseball for Chicago White Sox AA minor league team. Pippen was still a Bull and had just led his team to 55 wins in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs after sweeping the Cavaliers in the first round. On the opposite coast, the SuperSonics made history, but not in a good way. They became the first top seed to lose to an 8 seed in the history of the playoff, after being eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in a 5-game thriller. George Karl was coaching the SuperSonics, and the team had just got its new general manager in Wally Walker after their former GM Bob Wissett had resigned following their embarrassing playoff exit. According to George Karl, Jerry Krause reached out about the trade centered around Shawn Kemp and Ricky Pierce of the SuperSonics and Pippen of the Bulls, along with some draft picks. As much as it was hard to imagine not seeing Kemp in a green jersey, Karl got excited about the defensive potential Payton and Pippen would have had. The Bulls saw an opportunity. 4 days before the draft, Jerry Krause called. The Chicago GM who'd visited me in Spain had a proposal. Kemp, Pierce, and our number 1 for Scottie Pippen. Pippen was the best small forward or 3 in the league, nothing he wasn't good at. During one of Michael's retirements, Scottie led his team in all 5 of the main categories: rebounds, scoring, blocks, steals, and assists. So rare that it had only happened once before in NBA history with Dave Cowens for the Celtics in the 1977-78 season. But with his running buddy MJ, now a baseball player, maybe Pippen was a little bit disconnected. When I tried to imagine the Sonics without Shawn, I knew I'd miss him, but I got pretty excited picturing Gary and Scottie teaming up on a trap. They'd smother opposing guards. But every trade prompts a debate. I was in favor of this one, but I wasn't sure. The trade was very intriguing to Karl. Ever since he became the head coach in Seattle, the SuperSonics were close to playing on NBA's most prominent stage, but were not able to make the final push. After the first 1-8 upset in league's history, Karl felt like the roster had hit its ceiling, and it was time to make a change. He even sought advice from Jordan to be sure they were getting the best of the deal. So I called Michael. We talked about minor league baseball, North Carolina basketball, and golf. Then we talked about the big deal on the table. Should we do this? Do it, he said. Scottie can make our other players better. Kemp can't. That was enough for Karl to give his blessings on the trade. However, the news about Shawn Kemp getting traded leaked out to the media. The announcement infuriated the fans, having them call the local radio stations saying they were going to burn down the stadium if Kemp was traded. Ackerley decided to wait on it, which led Krause to being desperate, dropping the demand for Seattle's first-round pick. After not getting a positive response, Krause offered a big chunk of money in the next call. Then he doubled it, but Ackerley backed out of the deal, keeping Kemp as a SuperSonic. According to Walker, the trade idea originated from Karl. Ultimately, they had the team's coach and its owner in different corners. One of them wanted to make the trade, and one of them decided not to because of the trade's magnitude for the organization and especially its fans. There was no general manager in place when the discussions were going on. You had a coach who wanted to make the trade, but the owner needed to make the final call because it was a potential landmark moment for the organization. There was active discussion, but I wouldn't say there was ever sign-off internally to make the deal. Pippen and Kemp met in the NBA Finals 2 years later. The Bulls defeated the SuperSonics and started their second three-peat. Kemp played one more season in Seattle, after which he was traded to the Cavs. The most promising SuperSonics roster ever, after the one which had won a title in 1979, ended its run with one Western Conference title in 1996. Afterwards, the team got relocated in 2008 to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder, which officially ended the SuperSonics franchise. This might be one of the greatest what-ifs in both franchises' history. However, it's also a testimony to Jordan's appreciation and respect towards Pippen's basketball abilities. At the time, Michael wasn't sure about ever playing for the Bulls ever again, but he was confident that the big part of their success was Scottie. This proved to be true as Michael honored Scottie during his 5th NBA Finals MVP ceremony when he said the following: "We're a tandem. It's hard to split us up. He means a lot to me when I go out and play on the basketball court. He relieves a lot of pressure that I have to deal with. I try to do the same for him. It's hard to make this MVP by myself. He's got to take half of it. I'll take the trophy, he may get the car." This is why MJ blessing the trade for Scottie to Seattle was such a big deal. Even though Scottie was his right-hand man, he knew Karl would have acquired a player who would have made the difference in Seattle. He was aware of Pippen's all-around ability to make his teammates better, and he knew he would have been a difference maker for Karl and the Sonics. However, fortunately for Jordan, the trade didn't come through, and Pippen was there when MJ made his comeback. The two three-peated again, with Pippen being a perfect sidekick for Jordan, something that Kemp hardly could have been, given that he declined quickly, struggling with weight and attitude issues. If the trade happened, the legacies of everyone involved could have been drastically different. Fortunately for Jordan, his understanding of Pippen's value for the basketball team didn't cost him a perfect teammate. The same teammate who was waiting for him after MJ decided to put on a Bulls uniform once more. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel for more great basketball content. Thank you for watching.